Yay! Oh my, Chad, what's up, buddy?
Channel switched.
Never much, how's it going, driver?
Alright, gentlemen, good luck in qualifying. Qualifying is not mandatory. As soon as qualifying is over, grid up right away, please.
If you write anything on your computer, you need to get Grammarly.
I write pretty much all day, every day, and Grammarly makes my writing better.
As a student, I like that it's free.
It actually is correcting everything as I'm writing it.
Grammar errors, spelling errors, and even helps me find the right words to use so I can say what I want to say.
It catches all those embarrassing little mistakes before I hit send.
I downloaded Grammarly around my
I'll take that as a no. Real quick, just gotta say thanks to all my sponsors. Ragu got them up on the hood this race. Been doing such an awesome job for us.
Test, test, test. Welcome, my race. Sorry about that. We're having some technical difficulties tonight. I'm going to try to get that running order out to you real quick here. Like we've got Ryan Kuhn and Austin Craig inside. That would have been right. We're going green flag racing, folks. I'm sorry. Having some really bad technical difficulties this evening. Try to get things straightened out for the next broadcast, I guess. I truly do apologize for all the issues that I am having right now, but hope to get things straightened out very shortly. We're going to be right back, folks. I'm sorry, I'm having major issues. Alright, folks, seems like we've got all the issues fixed for the time being. Current race leader is Cale Gale, followed by Gabe Blaisdell, followed by Ryan Kuhn, Edward Bray in 4th. Cody Lipster is in 5th, Greg McLennan 6th, Dylan Terry 7th, Morgan Gamboa 8th, Austin Craig 9th, 10th, Jake Zelmer, Kevin Jones in 11th, 12th, Danny Rudy, and 13th, Joel Guy. As we're under caution yet again, we'll go ahead and back that up and see what the issue was. Right, as we move forward here and try to figure out what happened. Oh, looks like the 87 car. '87 car going into the corner. Oh, looks like Joel Guy might have gotten into the back of the number 87 there. That will bring out our second caution. I believe it's our third, but nonetheless, we are 12 laps into our 100-lap race. Number 87 taking it down pit road to get that thing looked at. A few other cars pitting as well. Sorry, folks, got multiple things going on in here. I'd like to say hello to Becky Whitmer and Chris Hogue out there on the KMA TV chat. Sorry for the bad start with the broadcast. Can't help these things. I don't know why they happen, but computers and I just don't seem to be getting along lately. Looks like we're lining up double foul, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. It's going to be Gabe Blaisdell and Edward Bray on the outside lane. Pace car ducks off. We are under green flag. Gabe Blaisdell pulling slightly away from Edward Bray. Edward Bray on that outside lane. Oh, Edward Bray getting sideways. We're gonna see another caution. All right, let's jump up to Edward Bray. They can find him. Had a lot of cars in the. Okay. Oh, a little contact there. They got it straight. 96 gets up into the number 66. 66 gets back into the 96. They all go around. Edward Bray almost flipping it over, and we have a parking lot on the front stretch. Not exactly a great night so far. Edward Bray taking it down pit road. That is definitely going to put a hamper in his evening. Thanks for that information, Chris. I'm going to take a look at that right now. All right, that should solve the problem. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Edward Bray looking like he's coming out of pit road. Unfortunately, that looks like that's going to put him probably a lap down. Looks like we're lined up to go back to green flag racing with the number 46 pulling out of the pits, completing his service. The number 27 of Gabe Blaisdell still leading at this time. Dylan Terry on the outside lane. Green flag about to drop. We'll see a 27 scoot away. As he does, green flag comes out. Number 17 tries to stay on his tail. Drives it hard into the corner, and we've got another car sideways. Not sure if that's going to bring the caution out or not. Number 27 out in front. caution is back out. Try to find this issue. Looks like the 99 and the 02 got together. Gonna have to back that up one more time. The wrong button. Man, I'm just having a real bad night up here. Don't know why. Take a good look at this incident here. Looks like Edward Bray has gotten his lead back, or his lap back, and now currently possibly resides in first position. Let's go ahead and drag Edward up here and talk to him real quick. Edward Bray, Ron Klein up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Boy, I tell you what, I'm having just about as many problems as you guys are out there tonight. Talk to me about what's going on out there tonight.
A lot of bumping, a lot of banging. Just a lot of people not following the rules, and yeah, it's been crazy. And now we're back to green flag racing, and I'm all by myself.
Yeah, so I guess this is going to be something a little bit different, and I hope it doesn't mess you up. If it does, we'll let you go. But yeah, you are currently out there pretty much by yourself. Still showing Danny Rudy out there. Joel Guy currently still in the room. If we're actually going to take a walk through the field here.
Yeah, it's been pretty aggressive racing. It was discussed pretty much during practice and before the start of the pace laps of all the rules, and we had one vehicle that changed lanes before the start finish line, and as soon as that caution flag came out, we went ahead and issued him an EOL. And from there, a couple other drivers that were being aggressive. We had one that was what looked like, from my view, it was an intentional wreck. So
yes, sir. As a matter of fact, I was actually going to speak with you about that, and you are correct. I did watch it. multiple times, and he unfortunately did turn his wheels to the left as that car was on the inside of him, trying to do a little payback. So those are the rules here at KMA. We don't stand for that kind of thing, so I appreciate you taking care of that. And I'm having a heck of a time with the broadcast tonight. I don't know what's going on, to be completely honest with you, but hopefully things will get better after tonight. But could you do me a favor, sir, and go ahead and advance the session?
I sure could.
Well, seeing that you're the only one out there running tonight, I really don't want to have you just run last 64 laps for no reason. So I'm just going to keep you up here, and I'm going to drag Joel up here and Danny up here, and I guess you guys will basically be the top three for tonight.
Well, they would just run to the lap 50.
Oh, you want to run it to lap 50?
I can run into lap 50 and all that. I mean, I got no problem with that.
Oh, that's fine with me. I'm just here enjoying the race here. Got Edward Bray out there leading, jumping the curb just a little bit there in turns 3 and 4, getting her wound back up down the straightaway, blowing it up going into turn 1, getting it down towards that yellow line, get the best run off of 2 that he can. Gets out next to that wall, gets her wound up, and then he's got to get right back on the brakes again, get it down to that yellow line. That's a lap here at Martinsville. Edward Bray making it look easy. So talk to us about you physically actually in the car, Edward. Was I pretty close there?
You are pretty much right on it there, Ronald. I mean, it's a lot of brake and throttle control. Making sure that you don't get on that throttle too early. If you get on too early, that rear end will break loose. If you hit the brakes too hard, going into the turn, we'll lock them up and go up. You'll get tight and slide up the track. So.
Oh, I see another car out there. Joel Guy's
happened tonight.
Joel Guy's revisiting the track. Now we've got 2 cars out there.
Yeah, he had me on my other race channel, so he was going to come out here and run some laps.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, this is better.
But yeah, you're actually correct. I mean, it's a lot of brake and throttle control. Like I said, if you hit the brakes too hard, you will slide the car up the track. If you get on the gas too quick, you will break that rear end around, and you're spinning. I think that's what happened a lot at the beginning of the race. There was just a lot of take and not a lot of give, and in my rearview mirror there was a bunch of spins going on, and then I got caught up in one myself. So it's a great track. Once you get in your rhythm, and you can have a great race. You can have a great time out here.
Well, that was going to be my next question. I kind of picked the schedule and picked the tracks and picked the cars. Did I make the wrong choice here, or was it just purely drivers over driving the car in every aspect?
It was actually just pure drivers over driving, not paying attention to the mirrors or the relatives. A lot of people try to listen to their spotter, and the spotter sort of lies to you a little bit. But what I saw, it was just driver error. Drivers just being way too aggressive. You can't get that here at this track, or by has that mentality that a bumping is racing and all the other, but all you do is spend a lot of time under caution, and that's what Kimmy doesn't strive for. We strive for action-packed green flag racing, and sorry, Ronald, but evidently it didn't happen tonight, and and I feel bad about that right there. I mean, it should have been a lot of patience at the start of the race.
Well, it is short track week here at KMA. We've been at Bristol twice already this week, and we came here, and this is very, very similar to a short track mentality, different in the aspect that you have longer straightaways, but you got to get it really low down to get through the corners. And you know, a little bumping. We saw a little bumping and banging at Bristol on Monday and Tuesday night. And a little bit of bumping and banging is okay here as long as it's not done under high speeds. And that's really what I saw was a lot of high speed bumping and banging. People were overdriving the corners and slamming into people, and somebody was getting on the throttle too hard and would push up into somebody, and just wasn't the normal KMA racing that we see. And I know you and Joel as admins do everything you can do to try to keep these drivers under control, but ultimately it's driver responsibility. You know, it's nothing on you guys, and you couldn't feel bad. It's really on everybody that was in. So a lot of guys got caught up in it. We had a few KMA drivers, quite a few KMA drivers actually, but unfortunately, you know, it does happen, and we'll take it as it is and go from there.
Yeah, I look at you know, this being a track that we definitely revisit. I think you know, a couple things, you know, changed a little bit. You know, we get new drivers that were actually not allowed to race just by watching what they were doing in practice, and we get some good drivers out here that you know, like you said, you know, there is an allotment, you know, for some bumping, but when you have different breaking points from, you know, that different people have, you have to have that situation awareness of that car might be braking a little sooner than you, and you trying to get that run to get past them, which, you know, sometimes can be difficult on this track. You know, we see what happened, you know, tonight, so that's a shame. You could have had a really, really great race tonight.
I'm gonna drag Joel Guy up here too. So Joel, I've got Edward up here. This is something new. Don't let this distract you from racing. We're doing something that we've never really done before. We're talking to the drivers while they're racing. Kind of unheard of. Edward and I have been talking, and feel free to chime in at any point, because we're just trying to entertain each other and the fans for as long as you guys want to run.
This is just, you know, some really good practice time. Now.
That's right.
I'm watching both of you, and I've been in the cockpit, and Edward has a distinctive line and Joel has a distinctive line, so it's pretty cool to see that.
Well, my line comes kind of from actually racing late models at Martinsville. I didn't drive, but our driver, the line that he took was the one that we set the car up for.
So explain that a little bit, Joel.
Yeah, if you can explain that to the fans watching.
You can set the car up to where you run the middle lane or the high lane, or you can set it up to run the low lane. If you set it up to run the low lane, then you're going to have it where it don't kick out. It rotates through the corner better, but you're going to run slower. If you set it up to run the middle lane or the high lane, then it kicks out a little bit when you come off the corner, but it also, you can drive it in deeper in the corner, so therefore you can get more speed. That's why I said earlier that I was hitting the rev limiter before I got to my braking point, because with this fixed setup, it was not letting me go full throttle to the point I wanted to.
Something new and something that we don't get a chance often. Talk to the drivers while they're actually out there on the racetrack racing, it being somewhat of a very eventful night early on. took many of the cars out. There are currently only 2 cars left. I'm showing Edward Bray, and I'll bring these results, the running order up. Edward Bray currently running in first position. Danny Rudy is off the track. Joel Guy, with trouble early, is 34 laps down in third position, about to overtake Danny Rudy for that second position here. A couple of laps, and the rest of these guys have taken it to the hauler and headed home. So unfortunately, not a lot to talk about tonight. The short tracks bring a lot of entertainment. Tonight is the first night that had the car count and have not had the race to back it up. So my apologies goes out to all the fans out there watching. But again, as we talked earlier, it is driver responsibility, and these drivers, Edward Bray and Joel Guy, both are out there making laps as they would if they're under flag conditions. With other cars out there, they wouldn't be driving much differently.
No, I wouldn't be driving any different. The only time I'll drive any different is if Ed comes up to pass me. I definitely will give him the freedom to do so, because I do not want to wreck the person on the lead lap.
That's very understandable and admirable.
Yeah, where are you, Joe?
Backstretch. Cross the start finish line now.
Alrighty, fans, we're going to take a quick commercial break and back after this. Alrighty, we're back with just 25 laps to go. Edward Bray out in the lead. Joel Guy in second place. Quite a few laps down. Those are the only 2 cars out here running tonight. The rest of the cars have wrecked out and left. The race is going by pretty quick now that we don't have any caution flags or caution laps. I've got company in the booth here, something different. Something we don't usually do, and something that probably won't be done again. We've got Edward Bray and Joel Guy, both the drivers that are out there on the track running. They're in the booth with me, so something a little bit different tonight.
Yes, it is, Ronald. Definitely.
Yeah, it is different, but it's fun to be able to talk to the fans while we're racing. Might be something we want to try to do more often.
Well, you know, if we can get to a point where some of the drivers can do it without, you know, losing focus of what they're doing, and they just talk to the fans, I agree. I think that would be really cool. Um, but you gotta have the right person that can do that without losing focus. I probably, I don't know if I could or not, to be honest.
Plus, they got to be able to, talk to the other teammates as well. So it might be a little difficult,
That is true. Maybe for
especially
just
on a
like a
speedway.
lap or two, something like that, maybe. But yeah, other than that,
On a short track or a super speedway or a 1.5 mile track, it wouldn't be bad, but on super speedway, it would be a hindrance because you wouldn't be able to talk to your teammates to do drafting and keep coordinated on drafting and pit stops.
as we show Joel Guy here, and currently in second place, ran a fast lap of a .910, last lap of 27.56. Jump back to our current leader, Edward Bray. Edward Bray with the fast lap of .783, and his last lap was a 24.34. So just a very slight difference in lap times. Edward Bray looks like he slowly catching the number 91 car of Joel Guy. Hard for me to recognize 91 out there tonight. So used to in the City Chevrolet. Joel bringing quite a different paint job tonight.
Yeah, I brought out the late model colors that Ricky Hendrick run. Some of the colors he ran when he was running late model. He'd run the all white car and Kodiak and a couple of other sponsors that Hendrick had that were not associated with beer and so forth. His main cars were Pepsi sponsored.
A good bit of information. We didn't even do any trivia tonight. I've had so much going on with my computer, which is still not correct, unfortunately. I have my taskbar showing, which is not supposed to be showing. The computer is giving me a rough time. So apologies to all the fans for that. We actually had a big debacle in the laps, but got it all straightened out, and hopefully have these. But yes, Becky Whitmer, you only have 2 drivers left, unfortunately. Out of all the cars that we had earlier, too many aggressive drivers and caused too many cautions. Most cars were damaged. Becky Whitmer's still out there on the Game 18 chat, so said something new. Joel and Ed, if you wouldn't mind, give a shout out to Becky Whitmer out.
Big shout out, Becky.
Big shout out, Becky.
Our race summary. Our current leader, Edward Bray, we got 89 laps complete, just 7 to go, going to be 10 to go. Lead changes, four lead change. I show 4 cautions. Had to race summary. Race here at, talk about where we're at. We're here at Martinsville Speedway.
The paper clip.
Paper clip it is.
Yeah, I actually was up here when Ricky Hendrick was running the paper clip in late model. We were running the Bill My Racing number 91, and he was running his car, the 7 Hendrick Chevrolet. And if I remember correctly, he was running the Pepsi sponsor that weekend.
Edward Bray is starting to close in on the rear end of the 91. We are front seat for this. We are locked and loaded right on the front of Joel's number 91 Monte Carlo. Edward Bray is slowly trying to reel in the number 91. Question is, if this was Joel Guy in the front leading this race, could Edward Bray catch him and get by him in time with just 6 laps to go?
Well, I think his tires are a little bit better than mine.
See, now this is the fun part about having you guys up here, so we get immediate feedback. As Joel Guy must have made a little mistake there, Edward Bray able to get right to the back of him, gets into him just a little bit. Up the track the 91 goes, then 66 underneath, the 91 slamming the door shut. 91 going in a little bit hot, but 66 sneaks underneath. Can't make it stick, has to let up. Guys are trying to make it interesting with just now 4 laps to go. Joel Guy pushes high, Edward Bray's pushing. Neither one can hold the line. Who's it gonna be at the finish line here in just 3.5 laps?
I got a good lap that time off the corner.
Old Joe Guy gets a little high. Edward Bray's got a little bit of a run underneath. Can't make it stick. Has to let off just a little bit. Gets right to the back. Oh, gets right in the back of the 91. Tries to get him loose.
He did get me loose.
But he was unable to get underneath.
A little bit of a love tap.
Oh, Edward Bray to the inside. He has now got that inside position. Looks like he may be able to hold. Will Joel Guy be able to get back to him and return the favor? That is the question with just coming to 1 lap to go. Final lap here at Martinsville. Joel Guy drives it in hard, unable to get to the bumper of Edward Bray. Edward Bray woeing it up. Joel Guy getting it woed way up, trying to get a run off the corner. Cannot get to him in time. Edward Bray comes across the checkered as your winner. Joel Guy comes in 2nd place here at Martinsville. It turned out to be a very entertaining finish to a very uneventful race for the most part. I mean, sure it was eventful, I guess, but not the eventful in the way that I would have liked it to have been in the beginning of the race. But that was kind of fun right there at the end, guys.
Yeah, it was.
We figured we'd try to
make it a little bit exciting at the end.
Right, so the boys are already in here. Joel Guy, talk to me about your night here at Martinsville.
Well, my night started off kind of rough. I got into 2 different drivers, and so I followed our rules and I parked myself. And once it became evident that everybody was parked except for Ed, I asked Ed if he'd mind if I come out and run some laps just to get some track time, and he said no, so I come back out on track.
Well, that's cool because I actually, when it was just Edward Bray and Danny Rudy, then Danny Rudy pulled off, and I told Ed if he wanted to, he could just advance the session because I didn't figure him just sitting here running laps by himself was really going to do anything. But then he said that you two were in contact and you were going to come back out and run laps. So that's another great thing about team communication. So well, I guess what turned out to be a bad night for you turned into be a good night in the end. I mean, I know the war of attrition sometimes gets people, but you did finish 35 laps down in 2nd place, but the next closest guy to you ended up 69 laps down. So way to hang in there and come home with a 2nd place finish.
Well, that's the name of the game, If you can stay in the track, stay in the loop, you can always move up because people will drop out in front of you as long as you can keep your car running.
That is the truth. So let's talk a little bit about the rest of the week here. Of course, tomorrow night is our Super Speedway week that we'll be broadcasting right here KMATV, RTK Motorsports. And then Friday we go back to Bristol, which we visited twice already. What do you think you're going to see in the EA car, in the big boy car Friday night? Are we going to have a high amount of cautions like Monday, or is it going to be a lower amount of cautions like Tuesday, or is it going to kind of be an animal of its own?
I think it's going to be an animal of its own. The A cars or the Cup cars are got twice the horsepower as the Xfinity cars, and you still got the same size tire patch going on the track, so you're not going to get any more grip with with that much more horsepower. I think you're going to see more wheel spin and stuff like that, causing people to run over the top of each other.
Well, now it's interesting that you say wheel spin, because Monday night I was not expecting it, and on the restart I ended up spinning the tires. So that was one thing that was going through my mind on Tuesday night, but the trucks didn't really have enough power to really break loose, and it ended up being a non-issue. But come Friday night, do you think we're going to see more of that? Because I think on Monday night when I spun the tires, that kind of made a lot of people go, whoa, wait, what's going on? Maybe I better take it easy. And I kind of saw we were having restarts. People weren't really wanting to get on it really hard right on the restarts. Do you think that's going to be a factor Friday night in the Cup cars?
Definitely it'll be a factor on Friday night in the Cup cars. Not only that, there'll be the wheel spin of somebody trying to get on the throttle too quick, too hard, coming through the corners, and they're going to get wheel spin on the outside wheel trying to grip, and it could throw them into the inside wall.
So it's going to be kind of similar to tonight then.
Martinsville and Bristol are kind of close in the way that you have to drive them, and you've got to worry about wheel spin. The only difference is Bristol is got your high banking, your 36-degree banking, so you're up on the banking, and that's kind of that centrifugal force kind of pushes down on the car and gives you more grip than you get at Martinsville. Martinsville being a flat track, the only grip you get is what the tires can give you. There's no extra grip from downforce.
But it'll be the same on Friday night. You can only go as much tires will give you.
Oh, absolutely. You'll only be able to go as much as tires can give you. I mean, the cars can go faster than the tires can stick to the track at Bristol. But you just have to drive basically the same way you do here with the egg under your accelerator pedal and try not to crack that egg.
Well, copy that. Want to give a big shout out to the number 91 representing the Kodiak car this evening and hanging out with us and doing 100 laps here at Martinsville. Well, not quite 100 laps, but hanging out for the whole 100 laps. I say thanks to Joel Guy and congratulations on second place.
Thank you, Ronald, and we'll catch you tomorrow night at Daytona or Talladega, whichever one it is. My crew chief will put me on the plane to the right spot, and see you on Friday night at Bristol.
Copy that. Alrighty, and we are on Edward Brea, our winner tonight. Now, early on, you looked strong regardless, Ed. Didn't think that you needed any help being up front. A couple of unfortunate incidents. We saw you get caught up in one of them and went into the pits, got a lap down, and then all the melee broke loose, and all of a sudden you're up front and there's just nobody around. So talk to me about your start and obviously the middle of the race. Really not much to talk about. And the battle right there at the end with Joel Guy.
Yeah, at the start of the race, it was a really good start until I think there was some cars that got together. It took a bunch of them out, and no caution came out because evidently I heard on the radio that everybody slid down pit road. So we stayed green. From there, Another incident that was in front of me. So we brought out another caution. It was still, the car was still handling strong. Then we had the incident, which I got bumped in the rear, spun around. I had to go back in and get some repairs done, and came back out, and nobody. So, evidently, with whatever caution that did come with that caution, it took out a whole bunch of drivers, and I guess everybody had to take them to the hauler. But racing those last few laps, with Joel, I mean, it's a lot of good practice for when we do come back here, and I look forward to seeing some better racing here in the future.
Copy that. Now, refresh my memory. Week number 1 of our short track series, we went to Concord in the modifieds, and I believe you came out on top there, correct?
Yes, it did.
Okay, and then week 2 we went to Thompson, and I believe Ryan Kuhn won that race. Week 3 we went to Oxford Plains and Legends. Brad Holm took home that one. At Bristol Motor Speedway, remind me again who won that?
I think that was me.
Yeah, I do believe you won the modifieds there. Now, last week we were going to go to Eldora, but due to a lot of drivers' input, we decided not to go there. We went back to Thompson, and Paul Pellizier at Thompson in the trucks last week, and you won again here at Martinsville. That puts you 3 for 6. You're at a 50% win on short tracks. Talk to me about that. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, we talk a lot about certain drivers always winning in some of the other series, and I understand that maybe we don't have as much competition or as many drivers on some nights, but I do believe Bristol, you had a few cars to contend with, and of course tonight, I mean, you had cars to contend with, and you came out smelling like a rose. So talk to me about that.
I do believe with racing short tracks, patience is key. You have a lot of drivers that want to hot foot it and get way out front, just in case there is a caution. But there isn't any cautions, which I've been to this track and we've had a few, but we had a lot of green flag racing at this track once everything started to settle down. And with the ones that are being patient, they usually catch up to the leaders because the leaders have already burned up their tires, and they're having to brake early, getting into turns. But the ones that were patient, they're able to catch up and possibly pass them. So with racing, with a different racing series that I with another team on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I've learned a lot about with the short tracks, and it helps out a lot with everything else. With the speedways, it's a lot of teamwork. The super speedways, it's a lot of drafting, a lot of teamwork from there. Here, it's a lot of communication, a lot of patience, and a lot of give. I mean, you have to. You can't burn up your tires or your vehicle way early, or you're going to the hauler early, and it's one of the things that you don't want.
Well, very well said, and very impressive record. As I said, 3 out of 6 races so far, so you got a 50% winning percentage. Talk to me real quick, like the paint job, the Harley Davidson paint job on the car.
Yeah, this would be the Black Talon Screaming Eagle that I brought out tonight, and I raced this one often last season and a little bit at the beginning of this year. So I figured I'd go ahead and paint this one up with Black Talon and see how she did tonight, and she did pretty well.
Copy that. Well, we've talked about the race tonight. We've talked about the paint job. We've talked about your wins. I'd like to hear a little bit of input from you about the rest this week. Just as we heard from Joel, Monday, Tuesday were two different scenarios. What do you think? Thursday we know is super speedway, so it kind of is what it is. Friday night we go back to Bristol, and in the Cup cars, what do you think? What do you think about Friday night?
Friday night, Black Talon, the Black Talon team has been, practicing and trying to see, where we can get the speed at, where our braking points are, where we can get back in the throttle. That's going to be key. You overdrive the turns at Bristol, especially in the Cup cars with all that horsepower, you're going to, slide up the track. If you get on that gas too soon, and your wheels aren't straight, you will, spin the car out. So it's the same thing with here. We saw it, Monday. You guys saw it, Tuesday. I mean, it gets back to patience. You can't win the race on the first 5-10 laps. You've got some guys that they're fast. They're gonna burn up their stuff, and if you're the patient one, and we have a lot of green flag racing, you could be that one that actually it pays out for. But hopefully all the other drivers have been practicing and know exactly where their braking point are, the throttle, back on the brake, burping the throttle, and hopefully we can have a really, really good race on Friday. I'm looking forward to it. I've gotten better at Bristol. I hated Bristol before, but loving Bristol now. So I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of the other guys are looking forward to it. So it's gonna be great.
Copy that. Well, I think that about does it for the questions that I've got. Any final words?
Nope. Thanks for broadcasting tonight. Wish it had a lot more cars left over to put on a better show. But I mean, gave Joel some more practice. It gave me some more practice, and appreciate what you're doing on Wednesdays. And big shout out to KMA and Scott Kulovic. Without him, we wouldn't be having any races during the week. So I appreciate it.
Copy that. Well, I'm going to post up the results and give us some music to go out to if you want to fire it up and burn it down. I'd appreciate it.
All righty. Thanks, Ronald.
Alrighty, thanks. Alright, folks, that'll wrap it up here at Martinsville Speedway. Sorry for the issues that we had early in the race. Definitely got to make sure I don't have those issues moving forward. Interesting racing here. The first 20 laps, not real good. Had a few people getting into trouble. Hopefully we won't have that next week. We'll be going... see, you got the schedule right here. Next week we will be at USA International in the late models. This was the super late models tonight. We'll be in the late models, and hope to see you there. So on behalf of KMA TV, KMA Racing, RTK Motorsports, I'm Ronald Klein, and I appreciate you guys coming out and spending the evening with me. Hope you enjoyed the race, and we'll see you next week.